Hey, Warrior Saints, welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Father Chris here, glad to have you beautiful people with us on this most glorious of Thursdays. I am about to brag my brains out to people because I'm so I mean, so proud of my kid. Let me tell you about one of my kids. My kids are awesome. I'm biased, but they're awesome. One of them, this is as you're filming and watching this, this is their finals week. So they're in finals. And my oldest is in her second semester of her junior year, which is perhaps for college the most important of all the semesters. They all matter and grades matter, but second semester junior year is key. Now the kid is sick. It breaks my heart. It breaks her mother's heart. I mean, she's sniffling. She's coughing. She walks around, slumped over. Her eyes are all glassy. I mean, the poor kid got sick. We took her to the doctor, to get all the swabs, and thank God, none of those, viruses or strep or any of that kind of stuff. But she's just miserable. But she has responsibilities. One of which is that her job, she has her own job. She is a math tutor, right? The other one is that as she's preparing for her future, she's getting ready to take one of these big tests, the ACT. It's like the SAT and ACT and all that kind of stuff. She's getting ready to prepare for it. And she had her own tutoring session scheduled. Now, I looked at the kid. I don't know how she made it through school. She decided to go to work anyway. Now, I said to her, Baba, why don't you just call and flake? She's like, Baba, I can't. The kid that I'm tutoring, it's his finals week also. He needs to prepare. I can't flake. I said, well, why don't you flake on the tutor, for your ACT study? She's like, Baba, I can't. I gave him my word. And when she said that, I said, absolutely, go. And that kid rock started. She went to work as miserable as she was, taught that kid. She came home miserable as she was, and still kept her online tutoring lesson for her ACT. And I was like, what an amazing thing. What an amazing thing. It hit me that my kid, better than me, had heard from the Gospel of Matthew, from Jesus Christ himself, who says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I think what the Lord is saying to us, I know what he's saying is, son, if you commit, if you say yes, if you say no, you better honor your word. Because in truth, a man or a woman is the word that comes from your lips. Do you understand? Like people sometimes say to me, but Father, if only you knew the real me. I don't care about the real you. There is no real you. The only you that there is that's real, that I can interact with, is what you give me. And if what you give me is a man without an honorable word, I know who you are. Do you understand? We are what we say, the words that we say, the commitments that we make, the truth that we speak or don't. It's so important that we honor our words. And sometimes it's hard to do. I mean, we've been talking about this week, just noise everywhere. So many obligations, so many responsibilities, so many yeses that we feel compelled to make, so much guilt and pressure that we feel to commit to things that we know we probably can't. And then when things show up and something's more tempting or we don't quite feel so good, the desire to quit on what we've already committed to. It's a lot of weight that people carry. And sometimes as we look at ourselves in the mirror and when we're confronted with that kind of stuff, we feel a little bit down on ourselves because we know that we're probably not being the man or woman that we're supposed to be when we get ourselves into these situations. How do we overcome that? How do we say, I want to make my words matter? The way you do that is visiting warriorsaints.org. That's it. That's where you start. Your first click, type that website into your browser and go to warriorsaints.org. You're going to visit our website. And I'm sending you there because in the middle of that page, we've got all kinds of stuff there, but I'm pushing something specific today. In the middle of that page is something called the Way of the Warrior Saint. Now, that's our library. It's a library. It's like books, but it ain't books. It's teaching. It's instruction in video format to help us as we struggle through all of those things that are prohibiting us from becoming the best man, the best woman that we can be. Really, as I like to say it like this now, it's an opportunity for the man that you are today and the man you ought to be to meet. It's a tool to help us get those two men, those two women together. When you subscribe, you're going to find in our database, there's a lesson that's actually called 3 Ways to Honor Your Word. So as you struggle to let your yes be yes and your no's be no, seek the guidance from Christ himself. That's what our teachings are filled with. warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. Get yourself on the path to becoming not the man that you are, but the man that you ought to be. I know that with God's help and a little bit of work on your part, you can find your way there. Love you, beautiful people. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. And until then, as always, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.